Hi everyone, I'm PJ. Welcome to Games Overboard, and today we are with Máté and Bogi, designers of Conspiracy, which comes out in April, right, on Kickstarter?
Yes, definitely, you're right.
Awesome. So all I've seen is a couple cards on Facebook of like the evolution of your cards and things like that, and your YouTube video, which is fantastic. First off, though, I would like to just hear about how you got into the hobby and how the idea came up for you.
When we first met, we didn't know that we are both board gamers. We're together for about 3 years now.
Cool.
And during the quarantine, the COVID, we were locked in my apartment, and we only had a few games. One of them is Rebellion. I can see it's behind you. And for Bogi, it was a very big step for Carcassonne, because that was the most complex game she played before that. But it very, very quickly turned out that we both love this hobby very much, and since then we have a pretty big collection. Half of it you can see.
That's nice.
And during that period we played a lot. And one morning, I guess, we had a little conversation about her job. She's at the moment organizing truck rescue, so Europe-wide. Yeah. It's not a typical job for a woman.
Yeah, right.
and she meets with a lot of funny stories. And we were talking about this job, and it came out that maybe this whole thing would be very funny in a board game. And we started to develop a game, and one idea followed another. So we started to work on more games parallel. And actually it was the fourth idea, the Conspiracy. And we thought it would be cool to self-publish a game, but we were afraid that a bigger game with a board with all the stuff, it's mostly fitting for the gamers, and it's a smaller audience.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a better idea to come out with a party game first.
That's a good idea. Something easier to fund too.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So that's why we started to focus on Conspiracy more and more. The idea of Conspiracy came after a little drinking session, also during this COVID situation. It was an online drinking session with friends, and one of my friends is a very very big fan of conspiracy theory parodies. In Hungary, there are several Facebook groups which are very much focusing on these, esotericism and conspiracy theory believers and parodying them. They're fantastic.
I love it.
We also
if you ever get a chance on Netflix, there's a documentary made by flat earthers called Behind the Curve, and I think it's 3 times in the documentary they prove themselves wrong that the Earth is not flat. I love it. I love it so much.
Yes. Flat earthers all around the globe. Yeah. And having that online party, one moment the idea came that it would be very, very funny to have a game focusing on this topic. And by that time we didn't know that there are already several games with the same topic or similar topic, but we didn't make our homework from this part. We didn't Google whether there is a similar game. So we just jumped in the process, the developing process. Bogi is mostly responsible for the mechanisms. I'm mostly responsible for the textual parts, all the slave text and abilities and whatever you can read on the cards.
Yeah.
And we developed in Hungarian. That's our native language.
Yeah,
but
makes
I'm also
sense.
English. I'm also an English teacher, so it was easy for me to translate to English.
Oh, my wife's an English teacher too, so she'll have lots to say to you, I'm sure.
So that was a start. And it turned out very, very quickly that we need graphic designers, of course, and we also need someone to revise the translation, and we need to establish a company. We need professional playtesters, and so on and so on and so on. Hi.
Here's Dan joining right now.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yes, we're talking about the origins of the game right now.
Oh, great! What did I miss?
COVID is responsible for a lot of it.
You know, I've noticed that a lot. COVID has been responsible for a lot of games that are coming out and a lot of really inventive things. So
yeah,
was it a horrible tragedy? Yes. Did we get a lot of cool things out of it? Yes.
Yes, and it also had one more, or also had another effect on this game as well, because during COVID, the conspiracy theories started to, fly very high.
They exploded, yeah.
Definitely. So, this anti-vaxxer movement, it's like a kind of gate drug for all the other theories. So we have some friends, relatives who believe in these, unfortunately.
Ooh,
and we could see the evolution. At first it was, just the anti-vaxxers, then the 5G, then the chemtrail, then some kind of shadow government behind all of this.
Yeah, they follow one conspiracy and then that leads into another, which leads into another, and
talk about going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes they just mix together,
Oh yeah. Well, no, you see, it's because the chemtrails they affect the 5G, and the 5G is,
Yeah.
Of course, you get the microchip by the vaccine.
Yep.
And
that's right.
You get the contrast material by the chemtrail, and the 5G turns this on.
Exactly. I wondered why I was so itchy right here in my arm.
I told my students, because one of them was talking about I'm not getting the vaccine because I don't want to be microchipped. I'm like, they don't need the vaccine though. They already they already do enough with this. They don't they don't need to put a chip in you. You're doing it yourself.
Exactly. You are voluntarily letting them track you.
Sure. Plus, you share a lot of stuff about you on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you post every time you go to Starbucks. We know where you are at all times.
Where did he go? We're looking. Oh, he's at Starbucks. Yeah, we'll get him when he's in bed. Really scared the crap out of him.
Oh gosh.
You're following me on social media.
That's right. And
is this recording? Yeah, that's okay.
I hope so. You always talk about the people be careful what you say. The NSA is listening. That's why when I talk to him, I say some of the most ridiculous stuff. And I go, I hope you're listening. At least it could be some kind of entertainment for you.
Yep.
It is for me.
Do you have a favorite conspiracy theory? One that really just tickles you?
Well, in my case, my absolute favorite is flat Earth.
Yes,
mine
too. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Because if you look at any other conspiracy theory, of course, probably they are not true, but there is some sort of logic behind it. So there is some kind of evil shadow government, deep state, whatever, behind all the stuff, and they want to manipulate you, enslave you, steal your money. So they have somehow understandable motivations. But flat Earth, come on.
Well, my favorite on that is you get the guys who say, "Oh, well, because I look over there and I don't see curve."
Yes.
You do realize how a spheroidal body works, right? You know what distance does?
They do not. No.
One guy that I saw, he did his whole video. He rented this plane and he went up as high as he could go, and he finally saw the curvature of the horizon. He's like, "Oh, well, it's just a trick because of the camera lens and because of the canopy, the windows." Like,
of course.
Wow. Are you? Let's just chalk this one to oxygen deprivation.
That's just willful, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, you have
willful ignorance.
Yeah.
I can't even call it ignorance.
Oh boy, we're getting off track. What are we? Though? Are we? So conspiracy. So you pick a theory and then you're trying to gain the most followers and the most believers in this theory, right? And that's the end game of this. So how does that work out? How's that all play out?
Yeah. So there are these, conspiracy cards, for example, the reptilians this time.
Okay, I love the artwork on these already. This is cool.
reptilians in the White House.
Oh, it's so great.
They're everywhere.
So in the beginning of the game, you get a conspiracy card. It also gives you an ability, and in this way, this game is not fully balanced. So there is some asymmetry in the game. Some are more powerful, some are less powerful. Some, like the reptilians, give you a purple ability, which means it's just a one-time bonus.
Okay.
And others, like the 5G, for example, it's an orange. It's a passive ability. So in case of 5G, they cannot steal your followers because the tinfoil hat is protecting the followers.
So when you bring up that, I saw in the video you guys had a tinfoil hat. Will we get one of those?
Well, probably yes. It's up to the success of Kickstarter. On one hand, here we have
Beautiful.
I
the
love
tinfoil
it.
hat from the video, but we also created a first player, not token, but mini, a lila tinfoil hat.
That's great.
It's a baby size.
It's adorable.
This one is actually made of tinfoil, but in the final version, we would like to have it metal.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
cool.
That's
It's gonna be
gonna
a
be awesome.
stretch goal. It's gonna be a stretch goal on Kickstarter, because if the players play, so this game can be played cooperative and competitive and solo. And if you play competitive, it's a simultaneous action, so there's no first player. But if you play cooperative, there is a first player. So then it makes sense to have some sort of first player, whatever. In this case, it's a mini.
Yeah,
I like this. So that's something that we've actually been seeing with our interviews lately, is everybody is starting to come up with more cooperative gameplay.
co-op and solo.
Co-op and
Ever
solos.
since quarantine, again, people
And-
have been looking for ways to solo games and making up their own rules.
Our whole podcast is board games. We love board games, but we really, really like it when you can do something cooperatively. I mean, even in video games that we play, I hate playing with other people I don't know. It's not that I'm antisocial. I just don't like people. But when you play a game like this, and it's got such a really cool spin to it that you don't see a lot of people go into, because conspiracy theories are, you either get the people that are all gung-ho about it and they believe quite a few of them, or they're just laughed at and everyone goes, whatever. But making a game about it is really, really cool to see how you can actually play with it and make fun of it. And of course, even if you do believe it, it'd be interesting to see someone's take on that. Like, oh, I really do believe this one. You guys got it. You listen to my story. Like, oh god, okay, this is gonna be cool. But that's something that we're seeing a lot with these interviews, and I just think it's so cool how many people are coming out and wanting to do something where it's like, I feel like I don't want to beat the crap out of you today. I just want to let's beat the crap out of something together type of deal, which to me is really cool.
Yeah, definitely. We love playing cooperative very, very much. We love the way how it changes the whole atmosphere of playing the game, because this is a party game. If you play it against each other, it's really against each other. So you do nasty stuff to somehow discredit the other person. And of course, if you are person who is easy to offended, then you can get offended easily.
I don't think you're gonna find that in this pair right here.
No, yeah.
I say some pretty
Shanna, she
stuff.
takes things a little personally sometimes when we play, but
Yeah.
but we're terrible.
So back to how the game works. Because
yes, sorry.
Moving on.
So we also have our aura glasses, by the way.
Which one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Love it. That's so great.
Awesome.
But you cannot see in this.
It's not transparent, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the other one is a true aura glasses, because you cannot see anything, just the aura through it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So There is the conspiracy card. This determines which theory you believe in. You also have action cards like this one. For example, it's an Ayurvedic fake wine. It's protecting you from the attacking card. And all of these cards give you an ability. Maybe you can see it, and also an influence.
Mirror and attack card's ability. But,
And-
okay.
And oh, that's so neat.
So during it, there are turns and rounds in the game. One turn is 2 rounds, and the players act simultaneously. And you can either play a card that you prepare, or you can draw an action card, or if you already have won a news card, for example this one, then you can flip it, and you can find the hidden message in the news. For example, the Nazis moved to the moon. In this case.
This is my favorite conspiracy.
Yeah.
You know, they made a movie about that.
It was so great.
Yeah. Iron Skies.
Yes.
It's quite cool. And at the end of the turn, the player with the most influence, because as I mentioned, all the action cards give you some amount of influence. So the player with the most influence wins the top news card, the actual news, and all these news cards give you some followers, which you can see on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Now you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the aim of the game is to collect the target number of followers. If you play competitive, it is 100 followers. If you play cooperative, it's up to the number of players.
Okay.
And once you win a news card, here's the funniest part, you have to explain how that card is fitting your theory. You actually have to think like a conspiracy theory believer.
That is my favorite part so far.
I like that.
This is an
Oh my
optional rule
gosh.
because there are some shy players who don't like to explain, who don't like this narrative part. You can skip it if you don't want.
Yeah.
This is an infinite joke factor in the game.
I love that.
That's fantastic.
That increases the replayability so much there.
Yeah.
Just that
yeah.
figuring out that end goal.
So if you play competitive, all of you are conspiracy theory believers. Everybody believes in a different theory, and you are bidding for the followers. And if I tell it in the language of the game, if you have the most influence, then the followers who are connected to the news card would like to hear your explanation what that news is really about.
Okay.
But if
That's
if you play cooperative, then you play against the shadow government. The shadow government is trying to discredit you, because in that situation you have to put all the conspiracy cards together. You have to create the great grandfather of all conspiracy theories. For example, the flat earther, reptilian, 5G chemtrail believer, and you have to explain the news together when you win. It is a great fun.
Oh my
Okay.
God. So how does the game work against you? How does that work? Is there like an AI deck, or what's the rule for that?
Bogi will help. So there are 58 action cards in the game. This one. Yep. And there are some cards with a red color mark in the corner.
Okay.
And if you play cooperative, then you have to sort all these cards out, and you have to create a shadow government deck.
Oh,
Okay.
Because there are
that's
two
cool.
main characters in the game. One of them is Ched. Ched is actually the secret agent of the shadow government. He's trying to
This
discredit you.
artwork.
The artwork is
And-
amazing. I love it.
And our other main character is Donald.
I think it's good.
Donald is a true believer of all the conspiracy theories. The name is not a coincidence.
Try
No,
No,
I'm
no,
sure
no.
it isn't.
Oh,
Gotta be huge.
Donald is hiding
Maybe.
somewhere. Here he is.
Oh yeah, there he is.
It's the hair. It's all in the hair.
Yes. And in this game, I think everybody can laugh at themselves and at each other, because we are not just parodying conspiracy theories and esotericism, but actually every ideology is somehow mentioned, touched in the game.
Yeah.
And if you have a good sense of humor, you can laugh at yourself and at each other.
Mhm.
And of course, this is the risk of the game as well, because you can get offended easily.
I know it's such a shame because like humor never used to be like that. You know, people were, you know, would be able to like take humor in such stride and everything.
Oh yeah.
So I applaud you for going that route, and you know,
Yes.
just the idea that no one is safe, you know, and things like that, because so few people are willing to these days. And
Oh yeah, everybody's afraid that they're gonna offend somebody.
Yeah.
And if you don't offend somebody or make somebody think, then what's the point of comedy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's the box of the game, and because we wanted to tell that this is not a PC game, there is the irony, sarcasm, and non-PC language. So there's a warning sign.
So who's the artist? Because I want to give a shout out to them, because I love there's one picture of like the flat earth, but you see the crust underneath and everything. I think it's like just a beautifully drawn picture.
Yeah,
like,
I love it too.
As ironic as, you know, laughing at flat earth is, I love that picture.
There are two designers behind the game, the visuals of the game. One of them is Attila Turcsányi. He created, for example, the front cover and most of the illustrations. And the other is Ági Mayer. She's my sister. And she created all the artwork of the news cards and also the backside of the news cards.
Oh, okay.
All of these are in different news styles. For example, this is like a tabloid.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, that one, this one, it's like, you know, an online news.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
And of course, there's print as well.
Yeah.
It's an advertisement.
Oh, cool. Look at that.
That's awesome.
I love that. So looking at Facebook, you have like evolution of the cards, you know, like how they changed, and it's really neat to see how it went from like plus 30 followers as just text to like eventually ended up being in like a little yellow circle and stuff.
Yeah.
So was that from playtesting, or was that just like you guys messing around with cards, or a little bit of both?
Well, it's definitely from playtesting. So this game was playtested, I don't know, a couple of 100 times. So enormously huge amount of time.
That's the way you want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to make a really good game. Bogi is showing one of them's upside down, but
This was before. Not very clear. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now you can see the followers very clearly.
Yeah.
The yellow circle. So once we felt the game is ready, we contacted with the professional playtester team here in Hungary.
Mm-hmm.
And once we showed the game, they said they loved the topic very much.
Yeah.
The theme is very good, very good. The sleeve text on the cards are very, very great. But we definitely need more types of cards, more types of action cards, because the game was too much building on the attacking and defending mechanisms.
Okay.
And it was not really, in a longer run, it was not a really good feeling playing the game.
Okay.
And we went back to the drawing board, and we started to create a lot of more types of cards. This way, we have created the final version of the game. And once the visuals were ready, there is another playtest round with the visuals, and we got a lot of feedback. For example, this one Bogi showed, and you mentioned, PJ, that the followers were not so clear on these followers type action cards before, and now they are very, very clear. And on some cards, the size of the text, for example, the conspiracy cards.
Yep. It was orange.
Yes, all of them were orange. The abilities and the size of the text was a little small. And now, as we have shown, it's orange, but a different orange.
Oh yeah,
that's passive ability, and purple if it's an active ability, and the size of the text is a bit bigger. So now, those people who have, for example, glasses and don't see quite well, they can read the cards easily as well.
That's really great. That you're getting all of this through your play tests instead of having play tests tell you what's good with the game, what's bad with the game. You fix it, and then you take it out into the world, and then you find out, well, now we have to do another version because X, Y, and Z apparently didn't work as well as we thought. And I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope when you guys do get to launch this game, that the biggest complaint would be that it's too short or not enough cards. because this thing looks absolutely incredible, and we've seen a lot of really fun games come out over the last 2 months total that we've been doing the interviews.
Yeah.
And we've only done
we've only been doing the interviews for 1 month.
1 month, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Time flies.
Yeah, we've been doing the podcast
doing
for 3 months. We've only been going since October now, but
I lost my train of thoughts. Thanks.
Yeah, good job.
You're
the one that asked me.
I forgot.
You brought me into this train.
How did I do that?
I don't know.
How did I bring you? How fast was the train going?
Oh, must have jumped on.
Oh my gosh. You're a hobo now?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. You got a nice place for a hobo, I tell you what.
Man.
You know,
You were talking about the games that you met during.
Oh, right. Yeah. So a lot of these games that we've seen, we have seen a little bit of one or two things that could be like, ooh, that could be a detriment. That could be really good, but we don't know yet. But everything you have laid out seems like it's going to work really, really well. So
yeah,
I just do these interviews going, well, now I have to spend more money.
Yeah, I mean, we're 4 for 4 in games that we love.
Really love.
Like everyone we've interviewed, like I've already subscribed for your newsletter and everything because because this is on my list. This is looking really cool. Do you have ideas now? The game isn't even out yet, but do you have ideas of like expansions and like keeping the game relevant as new conspiracies arise and things like that?
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
During the Kickstarter campaign, there will be stretch goals, and unlocking those stretch goals, a full expansion will get in the box as well.
Wow.
It's focusing on the QAnon.
Oh no.
This is gonna be awesome.
and Hollow Earth.
Yes.
Careful of those mole men.
And there will be some at the moment secret Kickstarter exclusive options as well.
Cool.
This expansion will give a lot of more action cards, some more news cards, some more conspiracy cards, and the game is at the moment very, very highly replayable, but by that expansion it's almost infinite.
Oh, great. Yeah. Great.
At the moment, there are 12 types of action cards. It gives quite big variability, even after you know all the jokes.
Yeah.
But the expansion gives 10 more type of action cards.
Okay.
So it's not really a game changer type, because we wanted to give an expansion where it is just expanding the replayability, plus it's a 5-6 player expansion as well.
Ooh, cool.
And
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
by that amount of cards, you can play the game with 3-round turns, which allows a little more strategy, and it reduces the luck factor in the game. Of course, in this way, the game is longer.
Yeah.
But for those players who don't just want to play it as a typical party game, that's an ideal expansion. Definitely.
Yeah, you said something really relevant, I think, and that I don't want to ignore, where you said like when the jokes wear out, the game is still fun, which is very important, like for party games and just any game in general. Like we said just Friday night on our last interview that like Cards Against Humanity, like once you've seen the same card 4 times, it's not funny anymore.
Not only
so
that,
you want your game to have good bones
and
underneath it.
Yeah, but also when you play with the same people, you know how they're going to play.
You can metagame,
yeah, and you know what kind of jokes are going to land and which ones aren't. And even after a while, the same joke that you thought was funny, like 10 plays ago, is like, oh, it's this one again. Okay, great.
Yeah. So I saw on your website, like, your goal is to make something very strategic on top of all of this, and I think that's a fantastic idea.
Definitely.
It's so vital for keeping the game relevant and replayable, as you said.
Definitely, because when we play party games, so nowadays we very rarely play typical party games for this reason. Like Cards Against Humanity, you play it a few times and the game is over.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Absolutely.
It's the same with unstable unicorns and exploding kittens and so on.
Yeah. They all have the same gameplay loop, and it never changes.
Yeah, very great artwork. But the mechanisms are very simple.
Yeah.
This is a pro on one hand because it's easy to learn, but also a con because the game is over very fast. So we wanted to create a different type of game where the mechanism is a little more complex. So it takes a little more, not much, a little more to learn the game. But once you know it, it's quite simple to understand and very, very highly replayable.
Yeah.
And it was also a very high priority that the game should work with 2 players as well. Because we are, many times when we play, we are 2. And many friends, when they play, they are also 2. And it's a shame that there are so great games which work very great, 3 or 4 players. But when you play 2, not that much.
We actually ran into that in one of our game sessions. We were doing
we did a couple little party games of Mantis and Godfather, the card game.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And they're both fun and they're great in groups. But when you do just 2-player, like, it's still fun, but at the same time, it's just constant going after the same person. So it's like, well, this makes it a really quick game. And
there aren't any surprises because you know what's coming down the line.
Pretty much. So it's good that you've also shifted this to a game that'll work ideally with 2 people as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's just going to be the 2 of us. Very rarely do we get an extra person in to play one of these games that we do for the podcast.
Yeah, it is rare.
But that's something that's really neat when, that's when it's your hobby, when it's stuff that you want to do, more with, and you only have a dedicated, 2 or 3 people. It's really cool to see that we're going to have something that is going to benefit, and not just us, but, people that don't get out a lot, whether it be because of kids or because of scheduling or whatever. So that's really great to see.
Yeah.
I talk too much.
That's fine. Thank you.
I'm an actor. It's what I do.
The other thing which we definitely wanted to do different from other party games is to make this game truly highly thematic. So very often we see that there is a good theme, there is a good mechanism, but they don't work together.
Yeah.
And here the mechanism is supporting the theme and the theme is supporting the mechanism. So you can truly feel like you are a conspiracy theory believer playing this game, but it doesn't take too long. So it's a filler, it's a party game. If you play 4 and everybody knows the rules, it's maximum 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes it so much easier to learn a game when the theme is tied to it, because you can make those connections in your brain. Like, why does this rule happen? Like, oh, it's because of this.
Yeah, and it's not an arbitrary thing. Like, oh, well, we did it that way to make it harder, or to make it different. Like, you actually have something to go. I see what you did there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very much appreciated for sure when you can do that, and so I get that some games, like, the designer's like, I have this great game, I just don't know how to theme it, so they have someone like just slap a theme on. Like, I get why they do that, but it makes it so much better when the theme connects with it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how much are you thinking this game is going to run for when you start at the Kickstarter? Do you have any ideas yet of what the price is going to be?
Yep. It's going to be 35 euros.
Okay. About $40 for us.
Yeah, roughly.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Yes. It's going to be manufactured in the EU, not in China. So it also raises the price a bit. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, we'll take it.
And all the paper will be, sustainable paper, FSC paper, sustainable.
Okay. I love it.
From sustainable source, which also makes a bit more expensive. The production. So because of this, we cannot go under this amount.
Right. Yeah. And even at that price, I think that's a pretty well priced game.
Yeah, I mean, we've bought other card games at that similar price. Like Arkham Horror LCG is at that price. Snake Oil's at that price. So like a lot of card games and party games are a similar price to that, and the same size box and everything. So yeah, that's fair. I think that's a great price.
I think that's a fantastic price for it.
Thank you.
Thank you. had something else. Another question. It just
Don't you love it when that happens?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the questions we have now are what is your experience so far?
Oh
with
yeah,
your
that was my next question.
with your Kickstarter?
No, well, yeah, I'm like, what kind of hurdles have you hit, or
Yeah.
what did you expect to be a hurdle that was surprisingly easy? That's a question I have asked everyone so far, and I love the responses we get because they're usually quite different.
Oh yeah.
You know?
So what was easy?
Yeah, if anything,
If
like,
anything.
is there anything where you're like, man, I like this part, this is gonna be something tough to get over, and then like maybe it was the playtesting, and then it came back, you know, like are these people gonna hate it? And then it turns out like no, they liked it, or was it vice versa? Was it something that you really had to work on?
Hey, Mikey likes it.
Well, maybe the best experience during this whole process was a huge game expo here in Budapest, in Hungary. And you know, we are a fully new publisher with you know, just 2 tables there, and with a no-name game.
Yeah.
And our tables were full all the time.
Oh,
And
that's fantastic.
we were extremely tired by the end of the day. But
I can imagine, yeah.
But it's a good
Really
tire. You're going, yes.
but it was a good type of tiredness.
Yeah,
that's great.
Máté wanted to give up before the first lunchtime.
No.
I was so tired.
No more.
When I went to eat something, it was hard to tell, you know.
Yeah.
The guy that I like this one and that one, because I was, you know, teaching the rules all the time.
Yeah.
It's extremely tiring, but it was a very, very good way to be tired. It was a very, very great experience because we got a lot of positive feedback there.
Yeah.
That's
since,
great. That's really great to hear.
And ever since, we had a few playtest events, and we had a lot of more positive feedback. So this is definitely, let's say, the easy side, cool side. Or actually, the other part is the beginning. I think if we knew exactly what it takes to create a game and publish it on your own,
yeah,
we wouldn't do that. But since we didn't know,
we've heard that before.
When some ideas came up and we fell in love with this, you know, brainstorming and starting to build the mechanisms and creating the cards and so on. So we fell in love with this.
Yeah.
You know, there is this dilemma that we have already invested some time, some energy, and some money in it. So we shouldn't give up. We should just go on a little bit, just a little bit. And this is where we are, very close to the Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
A lot of difficulties ever since, but the first part was very easy.
Did you have any inspirations for like how the mechanisms came about? I guess this is mostly for you, Bogi. Like how the game would play. Were there any games that like kind of led you one way or the other?
Well, with this one, not so much.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything else I've ever seen, you know, in terms of how it plays.
But with other games, we started to develop, definitely. We had a lot of inspiration, like Terraforming Mars, Wingspan,
yes,
Rebellion, Arkham Horror. So definitely we had a lot of inspiration. With this one, we didn't have about the mechanisms. We didn't have too much inspiration.
Yeah.
We wanted to create something that is fitting for the thematics, and that's how this mechanism was born.
Yeah.
Of course, there are other games with bidding. There are other games with tableau building, with card flipping, with hand management, and so on and so on. But I think not exactly this combination.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and as Máté mentioned before, we didn't do our homework, and we didn't check. We really didn't check every other game with this type, with this topic, or with this name. Only in the last one once.
Yeah, I saw other games with the name, but they're completely like they look very different from what you guys are trying to do. So. So I'd say that's like I think you'll be fine in that regard. But because when I looked up conspiracy game, like this big huge looking thing showed up. I'm like, I don't know if I want to play a conspiracy game that looks like that. I would want it to be more fun and more accessible. like the bigger games, I want them to be, I don't know, about, I don't know, something a little more serious, I guess. And
Yeah.
So I appreciate your choice, your decision on that for
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just I think the easiest part was to find professional playtesters, because they just come out on the Facebook. I just find that, and we went to them, meet them, and then they gave us a very lot of useful contacts for another Hungarian Kickstarters and social media management and so on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'm curious about, you were talking about your stretch goals. What made you come up with those particular goals for stretch goals? See, our first interview was with John Garcia, and he very smart guy. He's been doing marketing for years. That's his main job.
Yeah.
But when he told us when he started, he didn't realize the importance of stretch goals.
Yeah, he like when he had like the pre-Kickstarter link live, people will be like, no stretch goals, like I'm not backing this.
Yeah.
First time designer, no stretch
No
goals,
stretch
like no
goals.
thanks.
Like and he was telling us that was, he didn't realize how important that was. Was that something that you guys knew coming into it, that was important to you, or was it something that you had to learn through like a really quick trial and error, or did someone just say like, hey, if you're going to do this, you really need those stretch goals?
Yeah.
And I know John would be interested in this because like you guys, first time developer, and he didn't have really any help for input. He had to navigate a giant minefield all by himself. So I'm just curious about how that came to you guys.
Well, the minefield is familiar. Well, we had to invest a lot of energy and time in learning everything, and luckily we could meet with some people who could tell us at least some hints where we can get the info.
Okay.
With the stretch goals, we checked a lot of Kickstarter campaigns, and we read the comment sections, and it quite quickly turned out that on Kickstarter people prefer 3 types of stretch goals to make the game deluxe. The deluxeification.
Yep.
I like that
minis.
word. Okay.
If it's a Kickstarter, there must be minis.
Well, yeah.
And expansions.
Okay.
So that's how we built the stretch goal strategy.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Sorry.
I'm sorry. And they don't really like the language goals.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are gonna we will have one language goal with all the other languages which are non-English languages in one goal. So all the players who are speaking different languages, because this is a highly language dependent game.
Yeah.
With other languages, they might be happy with that one, but the goals after that are pretty much attractive probably for everyone. So
yeah.
Hope people won't mind that one. And we also realized that if you go Kickstarter, you should be, in some ways, Kickstarter exclusive. So you should give something that is just available in the Kickstarter version. So this is another thing that we're going to do.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of my questions actually, because like us being Americans, like games are released in English all the time, so we don't have that struggle. And I always feel bad when like a new game's announced and the first 10 comments are always like, is it in this language, is it in this language, and so one of my questions for you, just as Hungarians and everything, was how difficult is it to find a game that you're comfortable with, that's in your language, which I'm sure is what you prefer, even though you're quite fluent in English.
Right.
I'm sure you'd very much rather have it in Hungarian or something. So so like how difficult is it to find a game that is like made for you?
Well, luckily it's quite easy nowadays, because
good.
In Hungary there are several major publishers who actually do only one thing. They translate the biggest names and publish in Hungarian.
Wow.
For them, there is no risk, because they are these games are already big names, so people are looking for them. They don't need to spend on the marketing, and it's good for the gamers as well because we're interested in those games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like you see someone else playing a game, you go, "Wow,
I wish I could play that.
I want to play that so bad." That's really cool. Yeah, because like PJ said, the biggest hurdle we have out here is mainly for Spanish-speaking people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know there are a lot of games where like even Spanish natives have to stop and go, "Wait, hold on, that didn't make sense because it's in English." So that's really cool to hear that you guys actually have that industry, and it's a big industry for you out there. I wonder if there are any more like that in other countries.
Probably, I'm sure they're growing too.
I hope so.
With board games growing as an industry, I'm sure
really
that's
hope so. That's
becoming
really
more
cool.
common.
Yeah, I'd like to see
nowadays,
the board games get
Europe-wide. You know, in Europe there are a lot of languages.
Yeah.
And in Poland, for example, there's a very huge gamer community. In Germany, in France, in Spain, in Italy. So these languages, most of the bigger games are available.
Okay, great.
Sometimes we have difficulties with the expansions because sometimes if the base game is not that high selling, I can see Spirit Island, About You. And we have it in Hungarian, but all the expansions are just available in English.
Oh, interesting.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was not that high selling here, unfortunately.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That game is
it's a great
gigantic
game,
in America.
Is.
Oh my gosh. Especially in the solo gaming community. Like you can't post anything about solo gaming without someone mentioning Spirit Island.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the more frustrating games that we've played.
Oh, that game.
It can be. It's true.
Yeah, we said in our podcast, and I still hold to it. You just get this feeling of hopelessness.
Oh yeah,
when you first lay out the board and they just spread, because like I put all the colonists out, and I'm teaching Dan here, and he's like, "Oh, this looks bad." I'm like, "Hold on," they explore, and he's like,
"It just got worse."
Yes,
evil game.
Yeah. Pretty much like Arkham Horror, when you play and we are good. And then there's one myth round and what happened here?
We're not good anymore, guys. We're not good anymore.
Yeah.
Oh man. What games are you playing right now? Like what's the number one game in your house right now?
The number one is
Star Wars Outer Rim. Definitely.
Oh, Outer Rim. I want to play that. Like I heard it's like the Firefly game, but better. And I have Firefly. So I need to play Outer Rim.
We haven't played that in a long time.
No, we haven't.
But Outer Rim sounds interesting.
Outer Rim is a very, very great, very, very wise pick-up and delivery type MRE game. We definitely recommend it with its expansion, because without the expansion, there are too few cards in some ways, and it can be frustrating, just like with Arkham Horror base game with the 3rd edition. You need the Dead of Night expansion, because otherwise meeting with the same cards all the time is killing the mood
for sure.
But yeah, Outer Rim is definitely a number one, and Terraforming Mars is another one.
I need to play that. I have it digitally. I've dipped my toes in a a little bit, but yeah, it's on Steam.
Okay, so we share Steam
game share, so you have it.
So I okay, that when I do that, I either play Call of Duty with you or I'm stuck in VR somewhere.
That's true. That's true.
I'm shooting hot dogs. I can't help myself.
And we have a little bit different taste, because Bogi prefers the fast-paced and abstract games. I prefer the more thematic ones, which are maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
With minis.
Sometimes with minis. Yeah, so I love, for example, Rebellion, Star Wars Rebellion.
Oh my god, we got to play that again, and I will destroy you this time.
Sure you will.
Oh, shut up, I will. Empire all the way. We did nothing wrong.
Yeah, my wife is all about fast playing games. The only exception she makes for that is Betrayal House on the Hill,
and that's as long as he sets it up.
Yeah, but It's her favorite game. Her Mother's Day gift was the Widow's Walk expansion.
I'm sorry, that just sounds so bad. Happy Mother's Day,
Yep.
Widow.
For Christmas, she got 3rd edition. So
It's just so bad.
Yeah. So, but I love Wingspan very much. Bogi loves Azul. Yes.
Yeah, Azul is so good. I want to get the chocolate version.
Yeah,
Where all the
it's
pieces
on
look like
our
little
wishlist too.
chocolates. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't heard of the chocolate version.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wingspan, we're actually giving away a copy on Tuesday. We're giving away a copy on our Facebook page. So it comes in we have a little tote and a button and the game's inside. So we're excited. We're hoping we can, get some people excited about the game that way and stuff like that, and get some people who have never seen a game like that, playing it.
Right.
Because we have a lot of friends who have never. I introduced my sister to Clank, and they'd never played a deck builder before, and she's like, "I didn't know a game could do this," and I'm like, "That's why I'm in this hobby. That's why I love it, because I didn't know paper and plastic and wood could do this stuff. It's amazing."
Or they could go together so well.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
The first time I played Gloomhaven, and you're fighting against guards and they refuse to attack you. They just stand still and shield themselves, and I'm like, that's really smart. They're acting like a guard.
Yeah, the AI in some of these games, I can't even say, it just feels so weird, because when you think of artificial intelligence, you think of
Computers,
machines and
yeah.
computers and stuff. But it's really cool to see that you have a type of artificial intelligence with these games like Gloomhaven and Frosthaven and everything, and they really do make these smart moves. Or even Dune Imperium.
Yeah,
they make these smart moves. But when we play Dune Imperium, not only is the AI smart, but aggravating, because you're going, yes, I'm gonna do this. Why did you do that, AI?
You took my spot.
You did what I was going to do. It's funny how you get mad at inanimate objects.
Actually, let's segue into your co-op mode, because there are various different types of co-op modes. Does yours simulate another player with that AI?
Oh yeah, with the shadow government,
with the shadow government, or does it play like a completely different entity?
Well.
No,
both are right answers. I'm just curious.
Well, as this is a party game, the cooperative mode is a fun mode in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's quite fun to play several times, or several times. But after a few games, the shadow government is not really doing things differently.
Yeah.
So, of course, there are 3 types of cards in the Shadow Government deck. You have to build a strategy when to do what against these cards, and there is some variability between the games. But it's, of course, not as smart as the AI, for example, in Spirit Islands or the games you mentioned.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be, because your game isn't about that,
Yeah.
So I still think that's fine. That's great.
Because your goal is persuasion, and as long as you have some kind of roadblock to hinder that, I mean, you're gonna have something that's still gonna be challenging to come up against.
Yeah, so I like that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
I was just curious about how it felt going against it there. So
have we discussed when the Kickstarter is officially happening yet?
It's April 13th, right?
That's the starting date, and finish on
the
14th
day after
of May.
Eli's birthday. Sorry, my son's birthday's 12.
Nice.
As a mom, I'm like, that's important to me.
So while she was reminiscing, I missed the second part of that.
I love children.
So April 13th.
And then it's over in May, you said?
Over in May?
Yes, 14th of May. That's gonna be
14th of May.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Did we discuss their step there?
Yep.
You missed a lot, Shanna.
I missed it all.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm also very hungry. They didn't feed me. All I did was work the entire time at church.
There.
Hey.
I'm drinking this because I didn't even get coffee or any drink. It was reconciliation, and your mom had cake. Your mom was like,
and you didn't get any cake?
No, okay. So I have a complaint here, and I'm really sorry, but this is important. His mom is a cake decorator. She taught me to cake decorate, which is fine. But again, I'm in charge of Mardi Gras. Like, this is the face of everything that happens for Mardi Gras. It's a really big day at our church.
Lots of games and
food,
festivities,
organization, moving everything. It's insane.
Well, you gotta have Fat Tuesday.
Exactly. So his mom goes, well, I'm not really feeling well. Honey, you can cut the cake, right? I'm like, Mom, I'm doing all of Mardi Gras in an hour. And she's like, but you can cut the cake too, right? Mom, one more time, I'm not going to have to stop and cut a cake and then serve people because I need every minute. Well, and I look at Laura because I'm there, and Laura's like, why else would I be here, Mom? I'm here to help you with the cake. So thankfully, Laura's like, Shanna, I'll take care of that. Thank you. But I never got cake, never got the punch, which is good because I don't like their punch anyway. Yeah. I never got coffee. I never got water. Like, I'm tired.
So you just sound like me at my job all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. But I missed all the cool stuff. Next week is cool stuff. So like I'm building up to the cool stuff next week. But
there you go.
Yeah,
all the cool stuff. Because I loved your videos. I'm really excited about this game because I love conspiracy theories. I'm an English teacher, so I just am back.
He teaches English as well.
Yep.
Excellent.
Oh, that's awesome. I totally missed that.
Yeah.
I was a teacher, but actually at the moment I'm a psychologist, so I'm working as a psychologist.
Ooh,
that's awesome.
Very cool.
When you're a teacher, that's an easy job to have afterward. There's so much psychosis you see in the classroom, I swear.
Yeah.
This is great. I can only imagine what he's thinking having talked to me now. Okay, let's see here. Like antisocial behavior. Actor, that says a lot.
Right there,
well,
actor.
It will cost you.
I don't have a lot of money and I want to buy your game.
When I went to college and I was going to be in English education, I started dating PJ. His father is from England. He's an Englishman.
Mm.
And he goes, congratulations on your degree in your own language. And I was like, thanks, Dad.
It's a nice way to say
I can speak French as well, but whatever.
Hey, I was married to Spanish for 8 years and I took it for 4 years in high school. I still can't speak a lot.
But you know the word guapo. You got muy guapo.
I got that a lot. And then I gained another 20 pounds.
Didn't we all? I had children. Anyway.
So going back to conspiracy theories, I started off by saying I asked them what their favorite conspiracy theories were.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Mine.
And then Dan, you haven't shared yours.
I haven't
yet,
shared
so.
mine
Okay, so at our old job where we used to be teachers at Mount Carmel, we actually did conspiracy theory day.
Oh,
it was lots of fun. So one year I did the JFK magic bullet, and the other year I did the fluoride from Nazi camps.
Yeah.
And I think that would be one of my most interesting conspiracy theories because I still don't know if it's actually legit. So the fluoride conspiracy theory did the Nazis actually get that and try to test it to see if they could calm a population. That is my favorite conspiracy theory.
That's why they gave it to us when we were kids.
That's actually where the conspiracy
I know.
theory.
Yeah.
I know.
Do you guys ever get fluoride? Were you given fluoride as kids for your healthy teeth? Is that a thing in Hungary?
No.
See?
I'm not familiar with that.
Proof.
Okay.
Conspiracy theory proven. That is it.
So I actually have a whole bunch of them that I really like because they interest me. The JFK assassination is one of my favorites. My dad and I talk about that a lot. We both have varying degrees of what happened, but we come down to the same one thing that's sticks out, one important detail, which is Lee Harvey Oswald was not the shooter.
Oh, okay.
We both believe that. He believes it was the government. I believe somebody fired off a shot, missed Kennedy, and what killed Kennedy was the guard behind him by accident. Because if you watch the video, the motorcade pulls ahead and the guy's with his M16 and he fires it by accident. And I'm pretty sure that's what killed JFK.
Regardless, JFK was cool and all, but my favorite Kennedy was Robert Kennedy.
Well, yeah,
and
he was the best
death,
of them all.
Yeah, that gets me. He was such a good person.
He was.
Oh, his speeches.
I also like the Nazis go to the moon thing because that just tickles me.
That's a fact.
That's just.
I believe that.
That one
I saw it in a movie.
I saw it in a movie. They're making a video game about it.
But the other one that still interests me is the World Trade Center attacks on 9/11. Only because of all of the stuff that people are saying, this couldn't happen, this couldn't happen. Like our friend was huge into it, and he would tell me all the time, jet engine fuel, it can't burn steel. And I just stopped and looked at him one day and say, how do you think that stuff is made, you idiot? And then a few years later, he's like, man, I don't know why I thought that. Is because you went on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
And and it's not so much that I'm interested in that conspiracy theory, but more of
the thought process
behind it and how people could get
kind
into
of mob
that kind
mentality.
of
stuff. In terms of like you saying like the creepiness behind it or like believability of it, the chemtrails one, just because in the 50s we had that happen to us for real. Operation Sea Spray, where they were testing bioterrorism on our own people. And
America.
And so like I can see
when you make MAGA great again, is that what we're going back to? I always have questions for the MAGA people,
because like I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't realize like, but it's an actual like
an MK Ultra.
MK Ultra, and like it was part of MK Ultra where the government was like, if we were attacked by a organic material, like how far would it spread? So they took this bright red bacteria, I forget what it's called, but and they thought it was like non-toxic to humans, and it mostly is.
Mostly.
So and they dropped it over San Francisco to see how far it would spread.
Oh, it's just San Francisco. No one cares about
well, it was the whole western. It was like the western coast, but it focused on like San Francisco. It covered. Their goal was like a 2-mile radius. It covered the whole city and the suburbs. Sent like 11 people to the hospital, and 1 person died from it. And they're like, whoopsie.
Isn't it great to live here?
Yeah. So when that one, I understand why people are afraid of chemtrails. I still think it's bullcrap, but I understand where that originated from and why.
See, I like reading about conspiracy theories, but the ones where like the 9/11 thing, people died.
Yeah.
And so for me as a moralistic person, like don't minimize the fact that people died, and then the other one too, we've had Sandy Hook here. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
I hate that one.
Sandy Hook was a school up in New
elementary
England,
school.
and a person went in and killed a whole bunch of kids. Unfortunately, gun issues are a big thing here in America. There's a big conspiracy theory that finally Alex Jones got slapped down for, and he has to pay restitution.
Oh yeah.
But he started the conspiracy theory that that's not true, and those kids didn't die, and those are all kid actors on TV.
Yeah, all the family members were actors.
An entire school that is still dealing with the loss of all these children and teachers and aides who gave their lives to try and save children, and here you are minimizing that. Just offends me. So I'm cool with like conspiracy theories like JFK because we don't know, and I'm cool with like the fluoride thing, but I'm like, Alex Jones, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth. You gotta shut up. People died.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
And if we approach the conspiracy theories from a scientific side, because as a psychologist, when we started to work on this game, I started to do some research. But at this point, the social sciences tell about conspiracy theories, why they are widespreading, how they are born. Well, they are born when somehow something happens which shouldn't happen, like the 9/11. But somehow the system goes wrong. There's a glitch in the matrix, and
I knew it.
Liminal space. I know that word now. Thank you, Jen and Kyle.
and people are looking for some explanation. So how could this happen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And there isn't. That's the problem. We want there to be some kind of like logical or like heavenly
easy
reason,
point blank answer,
and there isn't.
Right. And I know you guys are going to hate me for this, but that's actually really interesting to see how that kind of fits in with religion and mythology in general.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the same thing. Why did that happen? Well, you see, little Timmy, that happened because Zeus is an all-powerful god and decided to do that. And you have a bunch of different religions that all spread from that. And what I find interesting about that, sorry to get off complete topic, is how a lot of those religions all have the same like center, the same creation story, the same savior story, the same,
it's called the sacrificial redeemers.
Sure.
Archetype.
Yes.
English teacher. Got you.
But I always found that interesting too, is how like even conspiracy theories kind of have that same
morphism
to it, and how everything just kind of comes from that. So, and I think we're gonna
we're being attacked by little
upstairs. The little people are running. But I think with this game, that's going to be a lot of fun to come up with all of these things, especially since that's your end goal is to, especially cooperatively, how you're going to string all of these conspiracies
I love that
together.
idea.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Or even when you're battling each other, why is your conspiracy theory right? Well, my conspiracy theory is right because Zeus decided to say, little Timmy, come up with something like that. So bringing it all the way back to the game, I think this is going to be so cool, so much fun. And of course, all the stupid, ridiculous things that we talk about just in normal conversation.
So here's my question for you then, because you're a psychologist, going back to your comment about the social sciences, do you think your game is going to create new conspiracy theories? We're going to have more issues in the world. Because I'm saying you might have this like box that's going to cause a ruckus and could cause an apocalypse. I'm just asking. So back to social sciences, do you foresee the downfall of humanity because of this game?
Well, unfortunately, I don't see the future. We are just the inventors, but how people will use this against or for humanity, we can't really tell.
I have made this simple neutral thing and you have used it for evil.
Yeah.
So like back to your comment then, because you are a psychologist, social scientifically speaking, like, so why do we follow conspiracy theories? Why do conspiracies exist?
Well, all the conspiracy theories give you some sort of illusion of control, that you understand how the world works.
I like
no
that.
matter how undereducated you are, you can easily understand how the world works. You can see behind the curtain. So this is what conspiracy theories promise to people. And when there is a glitch in the matrix, like the 9/11, the COVID, the war in Ukraine now at the moment.
Yeah.
So things that should not happen if the whole system was working correctly.
Right.
So people need some explanation why this is happening.
Yeah.
And one way to explain these things is using simplified conspiracy theories, where some sort of secret organization manipulating the society in their favor and trying to gain control or eradicate the race or whatever. And it was very important what you said then, that the thinking, so the logic behind conspiracy theories is pretty much the same as behind esotericism or behind religion. So if you want to persuade, for example, a flat earther that Earth is not flat,
we already discussed flat earthing.
Yes, we did.
You should not start with physics, because the problem is that person is not. So that person is critical with science.
Yeah.
So the first thing you should persuade that person that you can trust science. And once that person trusts science, we can have a conversation. Until that moment, it is just, you are fighting against fate.
Yeah.
Did you discuss the person that had an old job who was a history teacher, but also a flat earther?
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't. Yeah, this guy's in charge.
I hate flat earthers. I'm sorry.
I don't think you ever told me about this one.
His job is about teaching maps.
He's a history teacher.
And geography and history. And he believes in a flat earth.
That
he's a flat earther.
Is a full representation, just in a downscaled model of the earth.
And so he actually was teaching this to students, and they came to me. Like, we're talking juniors and seniors in high school, and they were
honors students, like gifted students, the ones that you don't need to worry about lying and stuff like that.
But check it out, Miss Hayden. It's totally flat earth, and I can explain why. And I'm just like, if you go to college thinking this, like, good Lord. So I had to go talk to the principal and be like, listen, this is happening and it's making us look even more stupid. We got to stop this. It was bad.
Yeah.
So flat earthers, that is a trigger for me right there. That
it's when you want to tell those people,
I gotta leave now.
It's a flat earth, walk to the edge and never return.
No, you can't, because NASA is guarding the edge.
Yes.
Was it an ice wall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Antarctica.
Would you pay attention?
I mean,
do you not know anything about flat earth? Come on, man. We're living on it.
You have to know
Which
their
school did you go?
conversation so you can negate them. Come on, Dan, get with the times.
I don't want to be with the Times. I canceled my subscription to the Times. That was a bad joke.
It was.
Stop pandering to me.
So yes, you can go to the edge, meet with Jon Snow.
I could. Can I tell him he knows nothing?
Can I bring back a dire wolf? I have questions.
Even on the edge.
In all my D&D games, I tend to find animals and keep them. So I'm gonna find a dire wolf. If I go to the edge, I'm getting a dire wolf.
If you do that, make sure you set up camp so then I can play for you Living on the Edge by Aerosmith.
Excellent.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a stretch.
Then I'll play some, oh my gosh, what's her name? My brain just
What is happening right now?
Oh, don't know, never. I'll have to
sing that
destroy
song on the
everything you used to play it.
I'm just gonna sing it a cappella.
Oh, jeez.
Super loud and proud.
What is happening right now?
I have no idea.
I'll
Dan is awake. It's kind of fun to have a conversation with an awake Dan.
I'll just take brooches like Oedipus Rex, but instead of my eyes, I'll stab out my eardrums.
Wowzers.
You have some experience with that, don't you?
Wow.
I'm not stabbing your eardrums
This
out.
got
but-
really
Oh
dark. We
gosh.
discussed conspiracy theories and then they see us
Greek
for some
tragedy, guys. Greek
reason.
tragedy.
Those aren't conspiracy theories. They're Greek tragedies.
Could be a conspiracy
Although
theory.
he's a psychologist, Oedipus,
Ooh,
right? So
yeah.
Oedipal complex. We got Freud going on here. I can make it all come back. See, English teacher, I gotta move this. I got this.
Yeah, keep it going. So do you have any questions for us or any extra comments you would like to add in about the game, the Kickstarter, or anything like that?
At the moment, I have no comments and no questions, but this
I'm
seems
very
like a
scared.
Great fun.
Okay,
Pretty
bye.
much.
I'm sorry, I scared them, guys.
Yeah, we're doing just fine. This is where our
What is your favorite game at this moment?
Currently, oh geez.
like you're looking at your board.
Yeah, no, it's like
Mine never changes. Mine's Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yeah.
So.
Mine. We're only dipping our toes into it right now, but we're loving Frosthaven quite a bit. And I got Eldritch Horror for Christmas, and that one's also been really good.
I really like Frosthaven, but I absolutely love Cthulhu Death May Die, which is actually right behind PJ.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What I like so much about that is, unlike the other Eldritch Horror games where it's like you got to stop the great ones from coming, this is no, speed it up. I'm gonna kill this guy.
Let him come
To me. I think that's like a really cool twist on it, because every time else it's like they showed up. Bye, you're done.
Yeah, not this game.
Not this game.
I also love Uno.
Uno.
Well, you know what they say, one is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.
I teach 8th graders and I have 3 different packs of Uno cards for them to play.
Yep.
I taught them Uno Flip. Things are getting real.
Uno Flip is something else.
It's a crazy game.
So what's your favorite game?
We already talked about this.
We did.
Well, I wasn't here.
You didn't hear. That's
Oh,
true.
my goodness.
So it is Star Wars Outer Rim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Totally got to get that.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to say their conspiracy game, but well,
That's called a missed opportunity.
yes. So as we head into the final section, I always say now, what is your elevator pitch to get people to want to hop on your Kickstarter and buy this game? Give us your elevator pitch.
Well, if you want to have a real conversation starter game that really, really makes you talk, even if you don't know anyone else around the table, this game will help to break the ice. Well, we can recommend this one. And if you want to laugh a lot and laugh at conspiracy theory and esotericism believers, this is a good choice.
All right, I'm sold.
I love it.
It's fantastic.
I feel like they're gonna break up a lot of families and relationships. So I'm kidding.
Well, they do have a warning label on the front of the box.
There really?
Yes,
Oh,
there is.
Yes,
you're
I
covered.
can
You're
show
fine.
you.
You're good. Oh my gosh, you did. I love it.
Just in case.
Can I get that just tattooed on my forehead or something? I think that would be best for me. Just that label.
PJ
You're
and I
less
are
marketable
normal,
with
just
it
so
on
you
your
know.
forehead.
Oh, on my chest?
We're normal.
I'd have to
Ignore
shave.
that.
I don't want to shave.
Okay, when you
That's
spread
a
the
pain in
news about Games Overboard, say
2/3
2
of
to
us
3
are good.
cool.
Well, I think PJ and I are pretty awesome. Thanks, Shannon.
You're welcome, Dan.
Again, thank you so much for coming
yes.
on the show. We appreciate you giving us
Thank
your
you.
time and showing us some of your stuff there. We can't wait for April 13th to come around. So keep in touch for sure. We look forward to seeing how this game plays out, and we'll be the first ones back in day one.
Oh,
yeah.
Can't
Guarantee
wait.
it.
We
Thank you
can't
so much.
wait.
Yeah, we got you.
Best of luck to you. I can't wait to see what you do in the future and your future games and expansions as well. I'll be watching you guys for sure. So take care.
And send us your information so we can get Dan on your psychology list because he needs a
Yes,
psychologist.
please.
So have a great week. Have a great week.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Have a nice Sunday.
You
You
too.
too.